Okay, so here we are
Yeah.
talking about trouble in the voice. So,
Yes.
welcome, Adonye. I'm very glad that we can talk.
Yes.
It's my
Same here.
pleasure. Um, so, can you introduce yourself a little bit to the group?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much, Ariadne, for inviting me, and I hope that we can get to have more of these. And I hope that yeah, once we have more time, we can choose different topics that we can talk about. So thanks again. So yeah, so my name is Adonye B, or just Adonye is my first name, and I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm an artist. I have 4 songs out on Spotify, and I've started releasing songs this year, and they're doing really well. I've had songs on BBC Radio, and I'm doing well in singing competitions as well, and songwriting competitions. I'm in a final of one that I'm
I'm proud of you. But you also have another profession,
yes, and
and
at
you
the
want to
same
talk
time,
about that
yes,
to
my
show
other
your other
job,
face.
yeah. My other job is that I'm a doctor. I'm a medical doctor. I'm an ear, nose, and throat surgeon, ENT, we call it here in the UK. I think other parts of the world, you call it otorhinolaryngologo, I think.
Yes,
Uh, oh, yeah,
that's
in France,
Greek.
exactly, it's Greek, yeah. In France, they call it ORL. So yeah, but that's what I do. So I see patients who have problems with their voice, um, mainly with it's mainly patients who are not singers actually, who come with problems with their speaking voice. But we also do see some singers as well. And of course, your speaking voice is the same as your singing voice. So it's the same principles that apply.
Although maybe you can tell also something about the anatomy of the voice, because a lot of people, they don't know that we have false vocal cords and true vocal cords. Can you
Yeah.
tell us something about that?
Yes, absolutely. And I was, I hope next time I'll have more time to prepare images, so we can all look at. But you can find these images on Google and YouTube. So your true vocal
Absolutely.
cords, yeah, exactly. Your true vocal cords, you have 2 true vocal cords, and they sit in your larynx like this. And these true vocal cords are where they're called the true vocal cords because this is truly where your voice comes from, where your sound comes from. And next to them, so if you imagine these are the true vocal cords, next to them you have false vocal cords that are sitting adjacent to them. And the false vocal cords, again, they're called false because they're not really vocal cords. And what the, the problem is when we use the false vocal cords to try and produce a sound, then we run into problems. So it's all about learning how to use your true vocal cords to produce your true voice.
Exactly. 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 So, what are the most common problems that they have when they come to the hospital?
Yes, so a lot of people think that as soon as they have a problem with their voice, it means they have nodules. They have vocal cord nodules. That's the first thing everyone thinks. Whether they don't sing or they sing, that's the thing that
But it can
everybody.
also be edema or something, that
Oh,
swells up.
yeah, vocal cord nodules are probably the least common things that we see. But it's very famous. We all know it because we know of singers who've had vocal cord nodules. Adele, Julie
And they
Andrews,
got
so
an
many.
operation and
Hey, got
all
an
that.
operation. Yeah, and we all think, oh my God, I must have it. I need an operation, So no, it's actually rare. First, I should also say that, if someone has a problem with their voice and say they're a smoker or they drink heavy, we always worry that could this be a sinister problem like a cancer. So please, if you do have any problems with your voice, go see your doctor, get checked out, make sure that that's all fine. But as I said, the vast majority of people we see, they actually have a functional problem with their larynx, with their voice box. So it's not, the anatomy is fine, the true chords are fine, they look absolutely fine, um, but it's how they're using their true chords, how they're using their voice box. And it's so, it's, I mean, some papers quote, say 30% of patients have a functional problem. What we actually see is higher. We see maybe it could be close to 50%, half of patients who come in um, usually have a problem with a functional
So
aspect
that's
of.
where we as vocal coaches come in,
Oh,
eh?
yes. I mean, a vocal coach is essential for every singer. And yeah, I'm saying this, you know, Ariadne, you haven't paid me any money to say this, you know. uh, this is it. I'm not saying this to try and get Ariadne more business and then I'll get commission. No, no. I'm saying it from as a doctor. If you're a singer and you want to take your singing seriously, you have to have a vocal coach because you know we always think for some reason we when it comes to singing we forget that singing is a sport, which is why I like your messages, Ariadne, on Facebook. Singing is a sport. You're an athlete as a singer. That's the way you have to think of yourself. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah,
Otherwise, you
and
don't get anywhere.
yes, and every other sport in the entire world, every other athlete, they know they need a coach. They never question it. They
Exactly.
never think footballers, you know, whether they're gymnastics, they're a runner. I mean, it's not, they don't even, it's impossible to think of them without their coach. Tennis player, anyone. So in the same way, singers have to have a vocal coach because you need someone who is objectively listening to your voice and hearing exactly what you're doing. It's funny, whenever I have lessons with Ariadne, I should say that. And whenever I have a lesson with Ariadne, she hears what I sing and she says, "You're doing this, and you're doing this, and you're doing." She diagnoses all the things that I'm doing straight away
Exactly.
just by hearing the quality of your voice. And it's the same with me as a doctor. When patients come in, from the quality of the
The
voice that
same
they're
thing.
speaking with, I can tell what the problem is already before I put the, you know, we put a camera down through the nose to have a look at the voice box. So, you know, you can, when you train your ear, you know. So vocal coaches
Exactly.
are very, very important for people
I
who
also,
don't.
if I hear someone laughing, I know if he has a good voice or not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the other thing is, some people tell me, oh, you know, singing, oh, I can't sing. I can't. If you can speak, you can sing. The problem
Exactly.
is, yeah, yes, that's it. If you can speak, you can sing. The problem is sometimes we've never had a coach, a singing teacher to teach us how to sing, how to use our voice to produce our own sound. And if you're trying to, a lot of times we're trying to copy, sing like someone else. No, like your voice box is unique to you. You produce your own sound. So you have to just learn. It's
Exactly.
like we all have um, the we all have the goods, or how do I say, we have the machine, but we haven't read the manual. That's the problem. The manual,
Exactly.
we need
It's a
to
nice
read the manual.
comparison. Yes.
Yes, and get the singing teacher to help us read the manual and understand our voices.
Um, by the way, this in this article that you sent me, they are talking about. They say voice orders are not mutually
Yes,
exclusive. What does it mean?
yes. So very commonly we find that patients will have several aspects that are wrong with how they use their voice. So, for example, I mentioned that most problems are functional. So, we find that some people say these are the true vocal cords, these are the false vocal cords. What they do is that they're squeezing the false vocal cords too much, and that's causing a lot of tension in their voice box. At the same time of squeezing, they're compressing their voice, the entire voice box. So instead of the voice box being nice and open and stretched, it's squeezed this way, it's squeezed this way from the front to the back, the whole thing is very tight. So we find that there can often be several problems. And
Yes,
of course, sometimes patients may also have, nodules or polyps or edema or laryngitis, as well as problems with the function of their voice.
yes. Uh, uh, as we saw in the lessons, that the whole mechanism uh, is working together only, but really only if the voice is relaxed and if
Yep.
the larynx is down, because then you can use uh, your true vocal cords,
Yep.
and uh, if it cooperates with the breast support,
Yep.
uh, it
Yep.
only functions like that. So
Yep.
if one of the aspects is uh, is not there, then it doesn't function and you can't
No.
sing.
No. Yeah. And in fact, so what we do is when we see patients who have a problem with their speaking voice, we then I work with a speech therapist, and a speech therapist is basically the equivalent
It's
of a
SLP what they're talking about, yeah?
yeah, SLP, yes. They're called speech and language pathologists in America, or speech and language therapists. We call them in the UK. Some places just call them speech therapists or voice therapists. And they are the equivalent of vocal coaches, basically, but for non-singers. So, people who use their voices a lot, like teachers or anyone, we all have. That's the other thing we don't realize. Our voices are so important to us because it's a way of communication. We communicate uh, language, emotion, information, and so when we find patients who have problems with the voice, it's there's several aspects that we work on. It's a
Yeah,
holistic approach. And like you say, the first thing that we do actually is watch how they're breathing. Lots of
yeah.
people breathe like this, you know.
Here with the breast,
Yeah,
yeah.
or like this. Yeah, exactly. We get them to relax. Everything has to relax before we go anywhere to the voice. Everything else has to be relaxed first before we can do any work.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then the aspect of food, because
Mm,
many people they ask, what can you eat before you have a performance or whatsoever,
yeah.
and there are also maybe some uh, nutritions that are not so good for the voice.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe you
So
can say something about that
yes.
too.
So generally, anything that produces a lot of acid from your stomach, any type of food that
Exactly.
produces acid from your stomach
So like
is
milk.
yeah. So even the good things, fruits, but also the things that are like oily, fatty, um, and it's all about learning. You have to learn how to you have to learn what your body reacts to. So with singing,
Exactly.
it's like we said, it's like you have to start understanding your body and understanding how your body functions
And what
and
it really needs. Yeah.
yes, exactly, and what your body really needs. So yeah, so things that produce acid, and then also things that types of foods that stick around your throat. So things like
Slimy
peanut,
things. Yeah.
yeah, things that have seeds in them. These things stick around your throats usually, and that's just normal. They take a while to wash down. And the
Mm.
problem is if they're there and you start singing and they shift, you will like feel something, going wrong, and you don't want to be experiencing that. So yeah, acid, the main thing is foods that produce acid.
Yeah. And maybe drinking water is a good thing.
Yep. Drinking water. So for example, for me, one of the things I did was I cut out a lot of fizzy drinks because I realized that for me, drinks that have fizz in them, Coke, Fanta, all these things,
Yeah, 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 yeah. They're
yeah,
anyway bad.
they're exactly, they're anyway bad. But definitely before singing, I don't have any of that. But it's
Yeah.
important to eat. You've got to remember that you have to feed your body so you have the strength to sing. Some people, yeah, I mean, everyone has their own way of
Yeah,
working
but
with.
of course but Many people say you can't eat before you sing. You can eat, but don't overeat. This
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
it must not be that your stomach is so full that you can't work with your diaphragm
Yes.
anymore.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
But that
And
doesn't have anything to do with the chemicals, let's say, but with
yeah,
the volume of the food that you
exactly.
take.
Exactly. Don't have a big meal. Also
Yeah,
when you have a big meal, you feel sleepy. So if you're feeling sleepy, you're not going to
yeah,
be
you can't
working with
concentrate.
your voice. Yeah. 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 So
And
simple things.
what about the raw egg? I think it's
Raw,
a fairy tale, but anyway.
raw egg. Oh, I
Yes,
don't
they
know
say
about
if you
this.
eat a raw egg, it's good for your voice.
I mean,
I think it's a fairy tale.
yeah, yeah, I think so. I think, that there are lots of foods that are good for your body anyway.
Of
And,
course.
yeah, egg has protein, which is good. Things like tea. So, green teas and ginger
Oh, I
tea.
have very good experience with mellow tea.
But yeah, I remember you mentioned that. Yeah,
Very good.
that-
It's like,
exactly.
it uh, purifies your whole body because it
Mm,
doesn't go only to your throat. It goes through your guts,
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Everything
yeah.
gets clean. And even in Creta, they say they use it very much, and they say it is the antibiotics of the nature.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also because tea is warm, it helps to
Yes,
relax the
yes,
muscles.
exactly.
Uh,
And even also, if you have pain in your throat, it heals
mm,
the surface of your slime.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And if you have your nose full, if it's dripping all the time,
yeah.
within 5 minutes it stops with
Oh wow.
melody. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have very good
It's
experience. I used to have bronchitis every 4 months
mm,
when I was in Berlin.
uh,
It turned out that I had also an allergy for a plant that is growing there. It's not growing
yeah.
here, actually. But when someone told me about melody, I was drinking it for 3 years every day, 1 cup,
Mm,
and I don't have any bronchitis anymore. And now
wow.
I once in 1.5, 2 years I get a cold, but I handle it
Yeah.
with my
Wow.
um,
Yeah.
melody and it goes away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, here's a
Just
question. Whenever
mm,
I sing, I feel something is stuck. Whenever I go for high notes and I'm leaking lots of air, how do I stop this?
mm,
Well, well,
yeah.
first of all, my opinion as a coach, I would say lower your larynx. So it must not be here
Mm,
when we talk, it
yeah.
must be lower. Here.
Yeah.
That's the very first thing to not lose so much air.
Yeah.
And then for high notes, you need to keep your larynx down, and it's like you shit. You have to press with your ribs
Yeah.
to give support, and
Yes.
it will
Yeah.
go by
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
It's
I, I,
just if
I
this
think
support is not there, the voice cannot relax,
yes. I
and you
think
can't do it.
what's happening there with Sorav is that when they're reaching for high notes, they bring their larynx up, and there's
Yeah,
only so far your larynx will go up until it cuts out. It can't. Yeah, and so you feel like you
it
end up.
just needs the support of the air.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So you end up feeling like that. So it needs the yeah, like Ariadne has said, it needs the relaxation, the support from your diaphragm, and just your larynx just
So
being relaxed. And, oh,
yeah, so I would advise to sort of to do the respiration exercises every day and become an athlete.
yes, I have to
That's the
say, I
first
mean,
thing
I've
because
been
it is the
yeah,
engine of the whole system.
yeah. The respiration exercises, I bought the entire bundle. And honestly, like I said, Ariadne has not asked me to say anything about this, but they really just revolutionized my singing. Like I really recommend them. I've had singing teachers before, but I've never worked on my diaphragm and my respiration as well as the exercises, helped me. And
And
yeah,
they're so simple.
they're
And you
so
don't
simple.
use your voice,
Yeah,
so you don't get tired. It's also very
that's right.
important.
That's right. I really recommend them. I really, really recommend them. Oh, great. Sarv is happy. Good, good, good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Good,
yeah. You're
good.
welcome, Saurabh. Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, so yeah, I think we had all the questions so far. If there's anyone who wants to ask something, we'll just surpass the questions and we'll see if we find answers. Huh?
Yeah.
Do you
And
agree?
yes, and
Yeah,
maybe if people have ideas of specific topics about singing that they want us to talk about,
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
then yeah, they can send those in, and then we can try
Yeah,
and do a.
yeah. Well, I was reading about twanging. I have a question.
Oh yeah.
This twanging, what they talk about, they say that you press something here. I don't know exactly what we do. Uh, I used to do it when I sing low.
Yeah.
I I found it myself this way to
Yeah.
get more support and get it done. Can you explain what this twanging is? What is
Oh,
it
I
exactly?
don't, I don't really understand
You
it.
don't know? Well, it's like
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
doing like that.
Yeah,
But
I don't,
I was
be-
looking it up in Google, and it's like something you press uh, under your larynx, so that
yeah,
the exit or the air becomes narrower, so that the air is leaded a better way. I don't really
okay, okay.
understand. Yeah,
Because,
something like that.
yeah, because also I think it's twanging also to do with trying to produce that sound, the, and
No, I
yeah,
think it's to exaggerate, to push down your larynx, and you can do it higher, of course, but it has some sort of metallic sound.
right. Okay. Well, maybe that's something we can do for the next session. We would, I can do some good research
Research.
about just twanging.
Yeah,
That's about just twanging, and then we can talk
yeah,
about twanging.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Because
that.
you can really increase your range with that.
Mm,
I used to have 3 octaves. I have 4 now because
wow.
the lower one I twang. I
Yeah.
didn't know, but I just discovered that I could do that.
Yeah.
I didn't know the name for it.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, I mean, it's
Pretty funny.
obviously something that's very useful. So I think that that would be a nice topic to talk about.
Yeah,
Anything that increases your range, it's it's a good thing to do.
it's a good thing to do. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that we got to the end of our discussion. Uh, Thank you very much for your time because I know
Thank
you're
you.
very busy,
Yes.
and it was a delight to talk to you. And I look forward to see you next time
Yes.
because he's also a very good student.
Yeah.
He understands
Yes, I
what I
am.
say. That's
Yes.
really nice. Yes.
Oh,
So, and then I will press the button to stop the broadcast, and we'll see each other next time. Thank
yep.
you very much.
Yeah. It's been a
Bye bye.
pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye, everybody. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.